Honey Sound Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Bilko Media Network.
Should I go with my guitar?
Yeah.
We need to create a scroll
Yes.
of what we're about to talk about, too.
Yes.
Our entire commentary.
It's we'll just put it
typed out.
Transcribe it as giant
transcribed.
Star Wars scroll.
Well, it's going, so.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is me, Tristan, Bill, and Shasta, all discussing the Star Wars phenomena that has swept the nation, and the latest movie, The Force Awakens. There we go. I had to remember it for a second. A truly forgettable movie.
My
Star
thoughts
Wars
exactly. I was going to say the
Awakens.
same thing.
I mean,
The Force goes back to sleep.
I mean,
It's more
it was
like the
it was
Force
like
never
thousands
awakens.
of voices suddenly cried out, "Eh."
I think that's a good way to sum it up.
I think that kind of clinches it rather nicely, don't you, Bill?
Yep.
So tell me, what were your expectations going into Star Wars TFW?
So,
TFA.
TFA, yeah.
I wanted to like this movie. You know, I heard nothing but good things coming out of the production, you know, before it released. And I just so wanted it to be good. However, with JJ at the helm, I saw what he did with Star Trek, and my gut feeling was it was just going to be just a new Star Trek movie with Star Wars slashed, you know, across the title. And I think that's almost what we got.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot in common with the Star Trek and the Star Wars movie. Just they felt like I don't know. I mean, they're everything in that entire movie was very safe.
Yes. And I think they wanted to keep it that way because they knew what they were dealing with from when they tried to reboot it, you know, 15 years ago.
They did not want the same level of backlash.
Not.
It's very Disney-fied.
Right. And that's the thing, like Tristan and I were talking about this earlier, where I think we're almost too close to really understand its impact here. Because when Star Wars Episode 1 came out, everyone went nuts. They thought it was great. They thought it was one of the best Star Wars movies they've ever done.
Yeah, show me a person who said they hated Star Wars the first episode from the minute it came out, and I'll show you a liar.
Everybody loved it, and so it wasn't until 3 or 4 years later, when the other movies started to come out too, that you realized how terrible they actually were.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna start seeing the same thing about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect, because if you break it down, what happens in this movie? There's zero character development. I do not care about the main characters at all. It just starts, and then why do I care about these people? I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, unless they somehow do a complete U-turn in the next movie, I think this is going to be this. You're going to look back on this one, and people are going to start to not like it like they did the original first ones.
It feels good. Like, you know, you walk out of the theater and you go, wow, that was fun. But yeah, when you think about it afterward, you might not feel so good anymore.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened to me. I know when we walked out, Tristan was like, eh. And I was like, I liked it. But, you know, and I did. I liked a lot of parts of it. But yeah, upon further just...
It has its moments. I'll give you that. It has its moments that I enjoyed. But there were a lot more moments that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah. I would say that, you know, it it was in many respects a doomed endeavor to begin with. Um, because so I don't know if you ever played Half-Life 2.
I have not.
Okay, all right. Well, I got like a slow burn on this beer. Sorry, it's like keeps on bubbling up, trying to kill it. Anyway, so the Half-Life 2 came out around like 2006, and it was like it was an amazing video game because it had lots of a physics engine that was amazing and a great story and all that stuff, and it left on a cliffhanger. And so it basically it's become like a running joke. Oh, Half-Life 3 will come out sometime a year before the sun explodes, right? So at a certain point, like it just stopped being relevant. Like it got to the point where I no longer care that if there's a new Half-Life game or not. It's been like 8 years. That's my exact same feeling with Star Wars. All right, it's been 40 years, 50 years since Star Wars came out, and I mean,
The originals in the 70s.
yeah, everybody who's worked on this thing from the beginning, like, is either dead or not involved with it anymore. So this just kind of seems like if you go to see like a concert of like the Eagles now, all right, where like 2 out of the 4 members of the Eagles are dead and in the ground.
It's a tribute band, is what you're
and
saying.
yeah, it's a tribute. This is the Star Wars tribute band.
Oh God, it is.
Oh,
It's so sad.
It is, because it's the exact same story. It's the same lyrics you know and love, only it's told a different way by different people.
And that's what they were banking on, because
Yes.
these random characters come in and we're expected to like insta-love them
yeah,
with absolutely no build-up.
yeah, and they're not.
Because it's supposed to seem familiar. It's supposed to be like, oh,
Yes.
this is familiar.
This
oh,
is
I
Star
love
Wars,
them.
yay! Yeah, the scrappy protagonist. Yeah, this actually bleeds into like that. I don't know if we got to this in the previous Bioshock Infinite review, but in that case, like Elizabeth, there's just not much to her, right? She's been locked in a tower for a million years, okay, and you meet her when she's just been locked in a tower all her life. In Star Wars, you meet Rey, who's lived on a desert shithole, getting half portions and quarter portions of bread from a giant slimy alien. And that's her life, all right? So, no parents, no nothing, no dreams aside from where am I going to get my next meal. And the stormtrooper dude is just a stormtrooper dude who's, I guess it's his first day on the job or something, but he has no past. He has no story, like backstory. He's just some random stormtrooper dude who we never find out like what his what are his motivations.
Right. What is his motivations for defecting? That's one of the biggest things I had, was like all of a sudden this stormtrooper, who out of all of Star Wars history, I've never known a stormtrooper to be disobedient in any way.
No.
Because they're specifically conditioned not to be this.
Right.
Which I guess is what we're supposed to like care about. Like, ooh, he's different, but there's no explanation
of why he's different, right? And also, like, I always thought that all stormtroopers were clones, and they were all supposed to be Mexican, as we learned in the second movie that came out in the first, because they're all supposed to be clones of Boba Fett or whatever his name is.
Yeah. They were Django Fett Unchained.
Yeah. Now, I can see the argument of after the Empire fell, they needed more stormtroopers, so they just started like grabbing people off the streets as kids, I guess, and then conditioned them to become
that's what was true by the original series. Like the original series was, these stormtroopers were clearly their own people, and I have a book from back in the day that's just like the authorized thing where it's like Han and Chewie walk in a bunch of stormtroopers just taking a smoke break. Like
No.
they're blue collar, pay soldiers, right? Like
so they're not all supposed to be clones, I guess.
yeah, they're not. But at least by the time of the original Star Wars, they're not all clones.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's that's evidenced by like stuff like some of the stormtroopers like being like sarcastic. Oh, I bet it's another drill, right?
Right.
If you're a clone talking clone 1086 talking clone 1087, like you don't. That's not how you act.
Well, I mean, they still go by numbers and everything too. Like even this guy had a number; he didn't even have a name. So you know he's been conditioned to think a certain way since birth. But they never go in to explain why all of a sudden he decides to give up and run away.
Yeah, and why everybody else doesn't.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, it.
How doesn't somebody hop on that right away? How are they not like, this stormtrooper's just not following the rules? Like, how
that should be a red flag right there. Because what stormtrooper doesn't follow the rules? And he was caught by the Silver Lady, who like said you didn't do something, or I noticed your gun didn't fire, or something like that. I forget the exact detail, but they called him out on it, and then they didn't do anything about it. Like that should be a blinking red flag.
It doesn't make any sense based on their like kind of what the protocol is you assume there's like no excuses, no nothing.
Right. For all intents and purposes, he should have been shot on the site right there.
Yeah, she wouldn't have even had a conversation with him.
End of movie. This shouldn't even happen.
Yeah, Vader force choked the son of a bitch, an admiral on the bridge of a ship. All right, in front of everybody. Like, there's
even slightly thinking about being disobedient. But
right. No, and that was for trying and fucking up. This guy didn't even try.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a big problem there. I think the
But he's Moses.
Yeah, he's actually okay. So this guy, who plays this, he's in an amazing amazing movie,
videotape.
Amazing videotape.
To return some videotapes.
Return some videotapes. An amazing movie called Attack on the Block.
Attack the Block. Yeah.
Attack the Block, and it's about space aliens attacking lower class English people who are all living in this giant high rise in the ghetto.
It's like basically a project.
So,
anyway, he's in that.
Yeah, he's in that as like the lead thug.
And I didn't even recognize him at first, but you
yeah.
know. So he acted it well. I mean, for having absolutely no backstory whatsoever.
I know.
He did a good job.
I know. So one thing that you do have to praise it on is that, well, I mean, faint fucking praise, is that they actually build, like, sets. Like, they don't just have these people in a green screen.
In a green screen movie, yeah. I did see that, because that's one of the things, like, oh, this movie's going to be great, you know, when I started learning about how they were doing it, because JJ said that he was going to make a strong focus on practical effects, and things are going to be real in this one, as opposed to the original 3, or the original reboot 3, where everything was green screen and nothing but green screen. So I did at least appreciate him trying to go that route.
Right. But I don't think anybody aside from like the mad idiot god Lucas, right, would try to ever do that. Like, you know, if you're an actor, all right, if you're a good director, you have a good connection to your actors, and there's no way that one of the actors didn't come up to George Lucas in the prequels and say, "Look, I have no idea what I'm doing, George. Like, what is happening? Where is it happening? You know, if you're an actor, you need to put yourself in like in a scene, and a set is not necessary, but it really, really helps. Like, even if it's just like some 10 by 20, you know, like placemat, you know, like in Stargate, right? You know, where it's like, well, this is the entire planet, bud, from this one to this thing, you know. But at least they had that. Like, you can't just do it on a green screen. So I think, I mean, to say that they get credit for that, I think that's going a little too far because nobody but Lucas was lazy enough just to lazy and rich enough to do the entire thing on green screen.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. What? Okay. So, did you have I guess what we should do here is we should maybe do the test that the Red Letter Media guy did with the prequel characters and the original characters. Okay, so what he did was he said, all right, to a bunch of people, said, hey, what are Obi-Wan Kenobi's characteristics without describing his appearance or what he wore. And if, like, Obi-Wan is old, he's wise, he's old, he's
like the teacher character.
He's a mentor. All right, now describe Queen Amidala. Right, like there's nothing there.
No one knows.
Who knows? All right. Describe Qui-Gon Jinn. What are his characteristics? Right, they're. Yeah, so obviously there's a huge gulf there in between the originals and the prequels. So let's try to do this with the characters in the Force Awakens. So let's get out the list of characters. I don't even remember their names. So already you can kind of tell where this is going.
Right.
Characters.
Star. Just IMDb it.
Yeah, characters.
Star Runner.
Yeah. This character, Star Wars Force.
Are you trying to remember their names?
All right. Okay. So
it was so forgettable.
Yes.
I don't remember their names.
All right. So describe Kylo Ren. What is Kylo Ren's character like?
Is he that emo wannabe Han kid?
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
I feel like that's his theme song.
Yes. So let's just say he does have something. He's immature. He's emo. He's insecure.
He has no reason to exist. Like, why does this kid have all this power? Like, why is he this pseudo Darth Vader wannabe? And how is he in this position to lead everybody?
He's Han
Solo.
Han Solo and Leia's son.
So
right.
Maybe originally the idea, maybe the writers in their minds were thinking that they could develop that in like a good way, like this new. What is the new regime called? Even I don't even know.
First order.
First order. Yeah.
Maybe the writers were thinking, ooh, maybe they're gonna jump on this opportunity because he's coming from Leia and Han Solo, who are like, totally famous and all this stuff, and haha, we're gonna get their son. But the writers didn't develop it, right? Like, there isn't a reason for him to have this much power. Like, I don't understand it either.
No.
Like, he had no...
Because, that's the thing. Like, he's in the same position like Darth Vader was from the original movies. As in, like, the leader of, like, the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like a high-up general or something. But he's a whiny little brat. Why is he in this position?
Understandable.
Yeah.
Because I can understand why the First Order or whatever would have wanted to use him for his name, for his notoriety, but we didn't get any of that. Like, as the audience, I don't know anything. I'm just filling in the blanks because they didn't fill it in for me.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, and that's the problem was
it's just annoying.
in the first Star Wars, you didn't have to know who Darth Vader was. He was just this big bad dude who went around like an SS officer, right?
Right.
And just made sure shit gets done. But now we have to know who this guy is because he's Leia and Han's son. So like, there's this whole backstory that we're kind of not really given, but
Right. What happened over the previous 30 years?
Right. That's a major
There
problem.
was no setup.
Yeah, that's a major problem. So okay, describe Rey without using her costume or her.
So when before she takes off in the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah.
I think I like her as the character, like this kind of nomad type person
Yeah.
who's just kind of out there, doesn't really know what she's doing in life, but she's living and surviving.
I liked her too. I liked her pretty immediately. Like she
Mhm.
just seemed really scrappy and like
Right.
she's able to figure things out and like taking care of herself.
But there's a big but here, because all of a sudden she takes off in that Millennium Falcon, and over the next course of the hour of the movie, she instantly becomes a Jedi super god without having any knowledge or anything or any training at all.
Yes.
And she just all of a sudden knows everything. And it's like,
Yes.
you can't do that. That makes
No.
no sense.
You've been living by yourself.
Yes.
Mad.
You know nothing about the Force at all, and all of a sudden you just, by sheer enlightenment, know everything. And
Yes.
it doesn't work that way.
It's very strange.
Oh.
Very strange.
So yeah. First half, she's a scrappy nomad. Second half, and this is controversial, right? But it is she is a Mary Sue, who can do anything the plot requires her to do.
Aww.
And also, well, she's not a true Mary Sue, I think, in that she's, well, I don't know if a Mary Sue has to be an author self-insert, but it's. Anyway, Finn. What is Finn's personality?
Is he the stormtrooper?
Yeah,
He's the stormtrooper.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't.
He
He doesn't have
doesn't
one.
even know.
He doesn't even know.
He's like, I'm a glitch, so I guess my name is Finn now.
Yeah.
Or the guy names him. His friend the person who becomes his instant friend names him.
Right. So
Poe names him.
Yeah. So what they need to do is they need to like create some sort of background. Like, what is a day in the life of a stormtrooper? Right.
Yeah.
Tell us that.
Right, and that not just have, I'm some special glitch from the system that I'm not going to let you see, but
I'm a stormtrooper hipster.
I'm a stormtrooper hipster. Yeah.
I'm bucking the trend.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then from down here, like I think it's Poe Dameron, and he was kind of a wisecracking.
He seems like he's supposed to be important in the next movies too.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. They set him up as a main character, but then he was gone for most of it.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming he'll be back in the next movie.
Yeah, I'm sure that he'll have a big role in the next one. But they kind of set him up as the new Han Solo.
Yeah,
Almost,
they do.
almost to a fault.
Yeah.
It is a fault. They're trying way too hard to make this guy Han Solo.
Yeah.
Yes. You are completely right. Yeah, and then past this point on IMDb, I don't even know. I mean, Supreme Leader Snoke. All right,
Gollum.
I guess he was
Clearly Gollum.
Clearly Gollum. Yeah. It. There's nobody there. So yeah, I mean, I think.
Wait, let me ask you this, because I saw this question floating around, and obviously we're probably going to know more about this Snoke guy in the coming movies. Do you think he's really that big, or do you think he's super tiny, like a foot tall, in real life?
He's going to be tiny.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. He's like a foot tall little dude.
Hello.
Yeah, I would just why is there suddenly a Greek Titan in this movie?
Right.
And then he
Why
turned
is he unnecessarily big? Because even if he's super tiny, why can't you just be normal size, 5 foot something or 6 foot tall?
Yeah, I know. I do like that. I do like the fact that he appears as this giant,
like Abe Lincoln, monument.
Yeah. So I think it falls. I mean, on there's more characterization than the prequels, but less than the original. That's what I think I'm getting out of this.
Well, I think from a dialogue perspective, it's certainly a lot more interactive and human than the first prequels were, because it was almost like, chatting brick walls against each other.
Yeah.
Was how those movies kind of went.
Uh-huh.
Whereas this was a little more actiony, a little more real. There were a lot more one-liner type of moments, I suppose, even though I don't recall any offhand. It just felt like the dialogue by itself was more real than the prequels.
Yes.
But as far as character development, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's better than the prequels. I'm almost thinking it's on par because there is none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're Finn gets all of his character development when he decides to defect in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Rey, she doesn't have. See, the thing is, these people don't have character arcs; they have character step functions. All right, it's Finn gets his step function in the middle of the first 5 minutes where he's not evil anymore, and then Rey goes from feisty nomad to now she's a Jedi
super god,
like an amazing Jedi, and and Kylo Ren goes from Darth Bane to shitty whiny emo kid and never returns. Never. I'm never able to take him seriously after he takes that fucking mask off.
Yeah.
I don't
know why.
The dude, like...
And she, yelled at him to do it, right?
Yeah, or I don't...
Take off your mask or something, and then he did.
Everybody would punch him in the face, man. He is just the most punchable freaking face.
He is a punchable... So, he's won a bunch of awards as an actor on that show, Girls.
Yeah.
And he's a punchable character on that show, too. He's really annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about him.
Yeah. Yeah. You think he's a good actor, or do you think that he's
really good at making me want to punch him in the face, I guess. But I don't know if that's his acting skills or he's just annoying.
There we go.
I don't know.
You have it. You have it from the girls watcher herself. Yeah. So one of the things that I really fault this movie for is okay, the curtain goes down on Return of the Jedi, and I need to know what happens. You can fault the prequels for a lot of things, but one of the things you can't fault them for is not explaining what happened in the last 30 years, because you're starting the story then, and that's not the case here. You needed to have a continuity between the original series,
right,
and
at least a bridge or something to get you to today,
right? Because here's the problem. All right, in this movie, and they even show it. It's just there have been 7 movies, and 3 of them have been blowing up the Death Star? At this point...
That's all they do! That's their only move!
That's their only move! It's their only move. This time it's going to be the size of a planet. Next time, there's a galaxy-sized Death Star! It's going to blow up the entire universe! Now we have to get the really big ships and blow... And there's a bigger exhaust port. Yeah, no, it's the exact same shit all over again.
There'll be somebody sneaking in somewhere and tripping off some wires somewhere, or pushing a button somewhere.
And it's just why? Okay, so this First Order thing, it's a remnant, it's a rump state of the Empire. How the hell does it build something that's more destructive and more doomsday-ish And the Empire did it. It's
Right.
like,
Who's funding these people?
I
Where is their
know.
authority coming from? Where do they get the resources to build this thing from? Because if you do it under the context of the Empire, then yes, you can do a Death Star type building because you're the Empire. You run the galaxy. But now that the Empire has been destroyed, that's something they didn't even go into. Who's running the galaxy? Where's the authority figure here?
Right. Yeah. Dark money super PACs.
Yeah.
Super fast. It's true.
But yeah, like that's another thing too, is that okay, it's good to see that 30 years later, Princess Leia is just like with 100 dudes on some fucking rock, like fighting the Empire.
Doing the same thing, that she was doing 30 years ago.
Yeah, like holy shit.
I guess that's her job or something.
It sucks to be you.
Nonsense.
Yeah. And then there's R2 who wakes up at the end.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the fundamental plot of this movie, which is to find Luke Skywalker, right?
Yep.
It's not necessarily to blow up the Death Star again. That kind of just happens.
Yeah.
On their quest to find Luke Skywalker. That is the plot.
That is the goal.
Right.
And so how do you find Luke Skywalker? Apparently, there's a map to find Luke Skywalker.
But somebody only has part of it.
But somebody only has part of the map,
the other
which R2-D2 apparently has the end bit, which is the part with the big X on it. That is the part that you really only need.
Which is what he's refused to wake up for years.
Right.
Thing.
So obviously, the end part of the map is in this R2-D2's database.
Open them up.
Open it up and extract it. Why?
No, really, yeah.
Why?
Unnecessary.
It's completely unnecessary.
Do you think that when R2 was
Where are
holding...
their IT guys?
Right. Do you think that when R2 was holding the plans, like for the original Death Star, okay, do you think that they were just going to ask him nicely, and then if R2 shut down, they were going to be like, oh, well, we're never going to figure it out now?
Exactly, yes. Because they said he has the piece that's missing.
Right.
From or a piece of the map, which is clearly the only part that is missing when they showed the little BB-8's map.
Right. And yeah, like, no, you're right. And I think that you hit the nail on the head when you start this thing off, is that, like, everybody and their brother now thinks that this is, like, good or decent or the best Star Wars ever, But in 5 years, we're going to look at this for the steaming pile that it is. I mean, it makes no sense.
Yes.
It makes no sense. It's got a lot of pretty visuals strung together, all right? It's got a lot of your... there's always going to be somebody who freaks out and wets the bed because they see a TIE fighter, all right? We are not these people.
No.
No.
But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that R2-D2 just happens to wake up at the time that everybody else arrives. Why he waited, days and weeks to wake up is still beyond me. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, he wakes up when BB-8 enters the room. Okay, they have a complete map. They go get Skywalker. End of movie. Like, what? I don't understand the whole, let's go. I mean, I guess they figure out the Death Star's out there and they got to go stop that. But they hold out on this vital information about where Luke Skywalker is for no reason at all. And all they had the answer the entire time within R2-D2. And why did he hold it out?
They needed to fall in love with these new characters. They needed us to watch these new characters go on pointless adventures for a while, so that way in the next movie, everything's all developed for them.
Right.
When all they needed to do was get their goddamn IT guys in D2
exactly
to flip a switch somewhere and say, "Oh hey."
Yeah.
Here's
you better like these new characters. There's going to be 7 more of these movies. We'll have plenty of time to flesh out the plot.
Thanks, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I mean, for a $2 billion buy, it's safe and soulless. You know, it's just safe and utterly soulless.
Right.
There's nobody in this movie who I care about. There's nobody in this movie who I particularly like, you know. Nobody really goes out of their way to ingratiate themselves to me. Like, it's just, yeah.
Do you like that they killed off Han?
I just don't care. Like,
It's really sad. I kind of didn't either. Like, they built it up to be the. Well, you know what made me care was Chewie's response.
Yeah.
That made me sad.
Right, yeah.
That made me sad.
Yeah.
But.
I really wanted him to say right before they killed him off, because I think I knew he was gonna die, because I saw somebody post on Facebook of Han getting a lightsaber to the gut.
Yeah.
So I kind of already knew that was going to happen going in, and then when I saw that scene, I figured it out.
Harrison Ford just doesn't give a crap. Like,
right, but I really wanted it. I really
involved in this in the first place.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
In that scene, I really wanted Han to scream at Kylo Ren saying, "I am your father," and then he kills him. But he didn't say it. He didn't say it.
That would be good.
That was an opportunity missed.
That, yeah.
Exactly. They had it set up so perfectly.
And then Kylo Ren. One step closer to the edge. Seriously, he just needs a Linkin Park soundtrack following him around.
Dark side. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Yeah. There's no there's just no redemption here. Like, this is a copy paste of the original Star Wars script and a find and replace job where they take out Obi-Wan and put in Han Solo. They take out Yoda and they put in Luke. They take out fucking.
Well, Yoda's that freaky orange lady, but yeah.
Yeah, Yoda would be the orange lady or whatever
Orange
her name
lady.
is. Yeah, and that's man.
What's her name? Maz or Maz or
I was pounding drinks away this entire movie. I just could not. My sobriety was like killing me during this movie. It just. I mean, there's so much stupid shit in here. Like, do you remember that scene where like not Kylo Ren, but Finn picks up the lightsaber and starts fighting the stormtrooper who also has like an energy staff that he's starting to fight. He's fighting a lightsaber with.
Yep.
Like just this fucking retarded, you know. And then at the end, I hated it when it was like, okay, we're gonna take Kylo Ren, who is an actual, at least somewhat Jedi, right? And we're gonna fight. We're gonna put him up against a girl who's never held a lightsaber before in her life, and then they fight to a standstill.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. No. Like, people have been saying shit to me like, oh no. Oh, she was trained in like a quarterstaff, like that quarterstaff that she used, and like, no. Okay, all right. First of all, if she was fighting with that quarterstaff or whatever for, her survival on, the shit planet, the not Tatooine, that in her head she's thinking, God, if I could only afford a blaster, all right? Nobody looks at a stick in a world full of guns and say, this is fine. I don't need that infinite ammo.
Right.
Yeah, death machine. No, I'm quite good here, thanks. Yeah, so like she can't use this thing a ton to fight off a ton of things. You'd be dead, all right? And especially if she was fighting off other people who presumably would have blasters. She'd be dead. So just her getting a lightsaber and being able to do all this, I mean, thankfully it wasn't like the crazy choreography in the prequels that were like, I'm going to do like 17 somersaults in the midair and then come down on you, like, right. It wasn't that. But it was definitely, super choreographed and way unbelievable.
Right.
Well,
Well, I mean, even if you think about Luke Skywalker, who
Yeah.
came from nothing, just like Ren did.
right.
When was the first time he actually used a lightsaber? Wasn't it until like the second movie?
It was the second movie, and he got
Right.
his ass beat.
Right. And he had like more than a week plus training or however long it was with Yoda, who trained
Yes.
him in the ways of the Force. And so even with all of his training, even with all the training that Obi-Wan did to him in the first movie, where he had the little like tester thing, the little ball that floated around on the
Right.
Millennium Falcon, he had all of that, and he still couldn't do squat in the second movie. And then we're expected to his niece to just pick this stuff up out of thin air? Like, no.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And then when you see, so she was fighting better, within like 30 minutes of getting Luke's lightsaber than Luke did at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Because if you like watch that lightsaber scene, like there's not choreography, there's not really any grace, it's just like when Luke starts winning, it's because Vader was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take your sister and make her an evil Darth person, and Luke just starts like wailing on Vader. Like it's not like it's this elegant swordsmanship. He just goes whack 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 whack.
Right, because he was never trained to be a swordsman.
He was never trained. And this girl is like a cool, calm, collected fucking fencing artist now, and it's just like no. Even if you had like a quarterstaff or a stick that you were fighting with, were you fighting other people with other sticks all the time?
Right.
Like.
So yeah, I mean, unless off screen she like downloaded this Matrix style into her brain with like some new technology that was developed over the last 30 years, this can't happen.
I know.
Fancy technology.
And so that's the problem with this movie, is that every step of the way it does not let me suspend my disbelief. Like I just realize, it has a little bit of initial suspension of disbelief, right? Because you're expecting spaceships and like evil Force people and stuff, right? But like you need to maintain you need to maintain consistency and what people can do in your made up world. If you don't maintain consistency, then you're host. You're fucked.
Right.
Like nobody's gonna believe you anymore. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts, Bill?
I did like when they were on the super planet that blows up everything. And it was very like they set it up like the Nazis, where everything was like red and black.
Yes.
With like giant banners everywhere and everybody in formation. I did like that. That was appreciated.
Yes. Yay, Nazis.
Star Wars Nazis.
Star Nazis.
Oh yeah. Who was the guy who was leading that part of it?
Yeah, there was this redhead. There's like Captain Ginger or whatever his name was. And
he was like the equivalent of that other guy from the original.
Did he die, or is he still in it? He didn't die, right? No, he's still... Wait, no, he did, because they blew it up, right? Maybe?
But was he on it?
I'm confused. I am not sure.
I don't know.
Did he like abandon them? Because I remember someone screaming like, "Oh, he abandoned us" or something. Let's get out of here.
Leave now in our moment of triumph.
He's supposed to be in the Rogue One movie. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
They're bringing him back as a CG like recreation.
Rogue One?
Yeah, because Rogue One, that's the next Star Wars movie to come out, like next summer or something.
Okay.
And that the plot point of that is how they originally steal the Death Star plans. So it's a prequel to the
That's
original.
interesting.
Yeah, but it's a modern prequel because it takes place between 3 and 4.
Okay.
And it's I appreciate it because now you're actually getting to some backstory
Yes.
that helps, develop, things that happen in the future in this case. But the whole point is it's a rogue team that goes off. I don't think it has any original characters. Well, like I said, the guy you just said is going to be in it via CG, and they're also bringing back Vader, who's supposed to have a really big role as well. So interesting.
James Earl Jones is still alive.
Yeah, I think he's going to come back and do it as the
Oh, yes! James Earl Jones, man. Like, that voice. I know. I know.
All right.
So I have a theory that one's going to be better than this one, but you never know.
I mean,
for Star Wars.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I mean, they have a little bit more material to work
with.
with.
They definitely have something to work with because you know how it ends.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we will. We will absolutely know how it ends. That's true. A little bit less confusing. Wait, so the next one is supposed to be between 3 and 4.
Yep.
What about the one after that?
So I think the next main. So they're doing like 3 spin-offs and 3 main, carry on the story movies.
Oh, good Lord. Of course they are. They just want to make money.
Disney wants to milk this thing for all it's worth. And so I think every year there will be a new Star Wars for like the next 8 years.
It's going to be like Land Before Time. There's going to be
it just never
Star
ends.
Wars 85. Like the Now music.
Yeah, Now 58 I think I just saw in stores. I don't remember when that originally came out.
Now that's what I call Star Wars. Thank you.
But I think they're going to go back and do a movie specifically about Kenobi. Like, do a Kenobi movie. Like, I think it's how he delivered Luke originally to his people, his aunt and uncle.
Really?
And then they're also doing a Han Solo spin-off as well, which I think is how he originally got the Millennium Falcon, if I recall.
Oh, and this is going to be a prequel, right?
Yeah. These are all prequels, but they're all like spin-offs.
I'm like, there's no way Harrison Ford is signing off on doing anything else.
Yeah.
He's like so done. Like every interview with him, he's like does not give a crap. He's just like, screw this.
I'm getting paid more than God.
He doesn't care.
I don't care.
And he's pissed. He broke his leg when filming this movie.
Yeah. It was like a garage door that fell on him or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it was the Millennium Falcon. He's like, back when we originally filmed this, it was like some prop people who like held the door up. He's like, but no, they had to like install, new technological things, and some idiot prop person was messing with the controls when I was walking through the door, and so like the door closed on his leg, and he like broke his leg like really horribly during filming. Like he had like multiple fractures in his leg.
Mm-hmm.
He was really, he did not seem very happy about this movie at all. Like,
yeah,
he's done. He's ready to be done.
So one of the things that I read somewhere on a writing blog, okay, that stuck with me was, when you're writing a story, right? When you're creating a story, is this the character's? Is this the most interesting point in this character's life? And if not, why are you not telling that story?
Right.
Okay. So that applies to all of these little spin-offs, all of these little, like, the problem is that the original Star Wars is a set, discrete thing designed to do it is. This is not something like that you can build well, I don't know. The extended universe has shown that there's enough of an appetite out there for it, but that was always a very small group of people. I mean, in terms of the people who watch Star Wars, and the people who were like reading expanded universe novels, right? I mean, that's a small fraction of the people who are interested in it. And I think that they're going to they're adopting the Avengers model, right?
Mhm.
Where you just take everybody and do their individual story, and then get them all together for a big get together. And
Family
what they
reunion.
have,
And then everyone they ever meet along the way, oh, we'll do their story now.
right? Okay, three episode, poor girl, what a great. You cannot you cannot sustain that, and I think that like Disney, the Disney executives, are always and executives anywhere, media people who are making tons and tons of money, right? And spending tons and tons of money to make these things. They're always going to be behind the curve. People are already tired of like the Avengers mega sprawl franchise thing. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't have any. This is a gut thing. I don't have any data to back me up. In fact, if I could look it up, and prove me wrong, go ahead. But I mean, at least I'm tired of it. I don't think
That's the thing. Like, I'm sick of all of it too. But
Right.
looking at the sales of the movies, like they're still like the biggest movies every year. Is like the Avengers or the Marvels or Ant-Man last year was huge, or the Guardians of the Galaxy. All these little bitty things that nobody's ever heard of because they already did all the main movies, and now they're going back and doing all these little people that nobody's known, but they're still huge movies. So I don't people they don't seem like they're getting enough of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's like 16 Marvel movies in the pipeline to be made over the next like 5 years.
There are,
which is
yeah.
insane.
That's part of that whole Disney lineup too. Like they
Yeah.
have they have a really crazy timeline. Okay, so now I'm like looking at the list. Yeah, so like the Star Wars thing, it's going to be like every other year there's going to be one offshoot movie, and then every other year there's going to be another
Like
actual part of
the main
trilogy.
story movie.
Okay.
So like, yeah. Oh dear. So next is an offshoot, like you said, and then there'll be an episode, and then there'll be Han Solo, and then there'll be an episode, and then there's going to be Boba Fett.
So you guys are gonna see the Foreigner tribute band, and you're gonna see Eagles tribute band, and then you're gonna see the it's just a succession of tribute bands.
Well,
that
they
are
know they're going to make money. Like that's
the thing. Like they know it's a for sure win, no matter what
Right.
they do.
Right.
They can throw up and put it in the theaters, and they know they'll bring in the crowd.
It is a sure thing. Like they are going to spend some money on it, but they're going to know that they're going to make that back easily, just because it has the Star Wars name attached to it.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that you'll see the next one? I don't think I will. I don't think that I care enough.
I probably will. I probably won't see it in theaters, but that's
In,
like
in
most
theaters
movies.
or
Like,
at home?
I'm gonna see it for free one way or the other, either
There
in
you go.
theaters or through like renting it at the library or on Netflix or something. But I'm not gonna pay to go see it probably.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. So, at closing thoughts, do we have closing thoughts, everyone? Or do we have any more ideas?
I don't know.
We got it all out. Did we get it all out?
Probably.
We feel better.
Feeling cleansed.
Do you feel cleansed?
Until the next one.
Until the next
Dun,
one.
dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
Sounds like we have a lot of thoughts about the Avengers movie.
Yeah. It's sort of into a fuck the Avengers fest at the end there. Yeah.
That might have to be next.
That might have to be next. I don't give a crap about them one way or another. I think to generate an hour's worth of content.
Yeah, I don't either. I barely remember any of them. I've seen a couple, but I don't.
Except for
I
Iron
really
Man.
don't remember anything. I don't
Tony
even remember
Stark.
that.
The only reason who is not eye candy, although he's a pretty attractive man. Robert Downey Jr. What do you think?
Beautiful.
He's beautiful. He's pretty beautiful.
I think he looks weird without the goatee.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like in real life.
Get back. Yep. So, closing thoughts for me is it is the meh of movies. It is straight down the middle. It is squeaky clean. It is sanitized. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in 5 years, everybody's going to look back and pretty much agree with everything we said about on this commentary, because I think they'll see the light in time and learn to hate it.
Most of our opinions, we only need time for people to realize our inevitable rightness.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was fun to watch, but not ultimately a lasting sort of wonderful movie to me.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that cuts it off right there. We've flayed and sliced and diced this movie.
This has been a presentation of Honey Sound Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Bilko Media Network.